Hello. I hope that you are excited for our last 2 days of this week practicing. If you're watching this on Friday, then it is our last day of this week practicing. You know, and I know that the STAR test is coming up on Wednesday for reading. And so just like this whole week, just like the last several weeks, just like really every day since we started in August, what I'm asking of you is that you will do your best, that you will show what you know, that you will work really hard. And today, the assignment today is no exception. As you know, because on Wednesday, so that's either yesterday if you're doing this Thursday, or 2 days ago if you're doing this on Friday, watching this video, on Wednesday we did some jot thoughts where you flipped through last year's STAR test that 8th graders took in 2017 and you wrote down things that you noticed. One of the things that we notice as teachers, and that many of you wrote down on your sticky notes, is that there were a huge number of expository articles on the STAR test. Lots and lots of expository, more than any other genre. Now, we all know that I don't write that test, so do we know how much is going to show up this year? No, but we know that it always is there, always, there's expository. And if last year is any indication, there is going to be several pieces, several articles that you're going to have to read and analyze and answer questions about. So in the work that we're doing today on this station that you're working on, you're going to read an expository article called Wetlands and Wet Heads. Silly name, possibly, but what we know is that we can't control what the expository looks like. What is it about? Agatha has joined us, so I don't know if you'll be able to see her in a minute. Anyway, we don't know if it's going to be interesting or not. Maybe you read that title and you're like, I don't even know what wetlands are. I don't know what a wet head is. This all seems kind of lame. You're entitled to that opinion, but, and especially when you find something uninteresting or boring or difficult to read and understand, all of the strategies that we've been talking about are that much more important. And so the first one we want to work on together, you should have that article in front of you, is writing down what it is. Now, I've already spoiled the pot there, right? Like, you know that it's expository. But even if I hadn't told you, there are things about that page that tell you what you're looking at. You know it when you see it. So what I want you to do is brain dump. Write expository at the top of your page, and then also write down everything that you know about expository text. What is its purpose? What is always or almost always included. So for instance, text features need to be part of your list, but just because an article doesn't have subheadings doesn't mean it's not expository. We saw that on the 2017 test. There was an article with a title and a picture, just like fiction shows up, but it's expository. So make sure that you have text features on your list, because that's going to be a big help to you, but know that there's other factors too. So I just want you to spend a few seconds brain dumping on your page what you know to do. After you finish that, you know that the next expectation is that you set a purpose for reading. Before you can do that, you have to preview the text. You have to look at what is on the page. Notice, what does the title say? What do the subheadings say? Are there pictures? Are there captions? If there's captions, read them. But we don't start reading the article yet. After you've previewed the text, you surveyed it, now you're going to write a purpose question at the top. What do you wonder about the article? So you're not going to write, what do I wonder about the article? You're not going to write, why do I have to read this article? We've already answered that. And I get it. This may not be your idea of a good time, but it is important practice. So you know how a purpose question can help you. It can help your brain stay focused on what you're reading, even if the article never answers your question. So go ahead right now and write a purpose question at the top of your page. After you do that, your job is to chunk the text. Now, think about how your day is going. I know that you've been taking a science district assessment. I know that this week feels really long. I know that I'm feeling a lot of pressure, so probably you're feeling a lot of pressure. So if all those things are going on in your brain, think about that. Am I able to read longer pieces of text and stay focused? Or do I need to read a paragraph or two and then chunk the text? Remember, when you get to the end of a chunk, I expect you to annotate, to write something. It doesn't have to be a big novel. It can just be a couple of words. What was this about? What was the big idea of this section? Now, on expository text, the best way to chunk is in subheading sections. So if you're reading an expository and it has subheadings, then you know probably, let's say you had to answer questions on the STAR test, there's going to be at least one question that says, what is the section titled blah, blah, blah mainly about? Or what are paragraphs 6 through 8 mainly about? Well, when you go back and look at paragraphs 6 through 8, they're in the same section under the same subheading before the next subheading starts. So when you go to chunk, I want you to keep both of those things in mind. On expository, keep yourself aware of the subheadings and make your chunks make sense within that. So if a subheading section is too long and you're like, no way, I'm going to read half a page or 3/4 of a page without taking a break, then make 2 sections within that chunk. But be thinking about what is each section mainly about, because you know you're going to see those questions. We've done this practice all year long. After you chunk, it's time to read and do the work. When you finish reading, the directions page has instructions for what we're going to do next, but it's a tic-tac-tally board. So that's where you're going to get some scissors, you're going to cut the squares apart, and then you're going to place them strategically on a white piece of computer paper that you've drawn that hashtag, the tic-tac-tally board on. What I want you to be aware of, there was some confusion with this. If you are watching this and you're in 1st, 3rd, or 8th periods, you only have to use 6 of the 9 squares, right? So after you cut them out, lay them all out in front of you and look at them, think, go back to the article. What connections can I make between this information, right? There's going to be 3 cards that you don't use if you're in 1st, 3rd, or 8th period. Now, everybody else, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 9th, you have to use all 9 cards. So that means you have to be really strategic about where you put all of them. For instance, the card that you put in the middle after you've cut them out and laid them out and looked at them and thought and gone back to the article, the one you put in the middle has to connect to every other square. So you want to make sure that the one you put in the middle there is the one that makes the most sense. Agatha's back and she's making a lot of noise. So that's probably our cue. Work hard, do your best, ask for help. After you put those squares in order, you're going to either staple them down or glue them down today. If you can find a working stapler, good luck. I'll see what I can do to help with that. But then you're going to make connections between them. We don't want to just randomly slap them down. The ones you put connected may be different than the ones I thought connected. So you're going to write me a statement about each connection that you make between those squares. So work hard, do your best. Don't quit. Don't quit. I know that it's a lot, and I know that you're thinking about all the things you have to do. Take it one day at a time, one assignment at a time, and give everything you've got to this one. Thanks for working so hard. Love you.